Hey YouTube, everybody, this is a big update video. We've been doing some quarantine work, you can call it. There's been a lot of changes to the yard. It's a little subdued right now. It's kind of feeling weird out here. You ever get the willies from the weather? It's kind of happening right now. It's a little chilly. As you can see, put up a new fence. We've done a lot of changes around here. Tired of these ladies having to be stopped from being on the patio with the fence that we've had in the past, and we've been brooding the little baby chicks over here too. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun, but I'm tired of living with the chickens, being able to get the big chickens get up here and poo, and now that we're adding more chickens, the big idea is we're going to add a whole nother fence. So this is going to be a chicken-free zone once, of course, the babies are out of the question. Mr. Hank is concerned about this whole thing because he thinks we're trying to fence him in or something, and he is seriously concerned about this whole thing. He wants out. I haven't put a gate in. We just did this yesterday, so we'll deal with him. Sorry, Hank. Come on, buddy. Literally just stretched this stuff. Bought a 100-foot roll of this 4-foot welded wire, and these cheapo poles we've had for a while. We had planned to do this for a long time. We just never got around to it. They're not the big poles like your fence is. This is a 1 5/8 or something. Literally used a water hose as a jet, a little water jet on the end of it, and mostly ran it down with that. Had one of my sons hold some wood, and I pounded it with the back of an axe and pounded these suckers in. They're not all the way down. This was a quick throw up literally yesterday. There's a lot of stuff happened yesterday. Me and the Mrs. Suburban Gardener have had a busy couple of days. I lost one of my siblings here 3 days ago, and this kind of happens whenever we have a tragedy. We get kind of involved in stuff and get really immersed. So I'm gonna have to brag on her because this thing is my work, but these plants is her work. So all the original little glass table is sitting over here in some other videos. We had all the little seedlings and all these little things that we had going on. We overseeded things, and like everybody does, and we didn't know if some of the seeds were any good. We were going through seeds from 2016, 17, and 18, and 19, and some of the ones we had bought, and so we overseeded. And so just like anything else, they do, like, this is celery. Okay, celery. Look how we overseeded. This is the most dramatic overseeding we did. This is why it hasn't been messed with yet. But we overseeded kale, all these different, what are these, basil. So we got 3 different kinds of basil. And she literally sat there and wove all those little baby plants apart in the last day, put them in these little pots. I ordered these off of Amazon. I'll talk about all that. And these are all dinosaur kales. And she unwove all those plants, y'all. I am not even lying. This is like, and I'm 100% success rate so far. Not a single one has died. Her separation and my husbandry, of course. Not even the seedlings she transplanted that broke up, that were clumped up with other plants. These are different kinds of peppers, The lettuces were already a little overgrown. And look, we're doing, I don't know, we went nuts, and she's definitely on a tear. We're tearing up water bottles, and I'm melting holes in the bottom. Anything in the world that can hold a plant, we're putting plants in them. Our dill, those are one of the ones we haven't broke up, but now that she's gotten really good at this in a day, she's accepting the challenge of trying to break up those dills, which are really packed together. So those suckers are coming back out, and they're going to get separated, but we ran out of pots. Yeah, I'm telling you, this was a day's work. This is craziness. But it looks good. It looks really good. So we had separated the tomatoes previously. The only things we're not separating are the vines, the watermelons, cantaloupes, squash, zucchini. I've heard they don't take well to separating, and we don't need 1,000 of those vines right now, so that's fine. But the tomatoes and all that other stuff we might be able to give away to family and things, so we're definitely looking at that. The herb garden idea thing was part of that, so that's where all the basils and stuff come from. We've got sensitive plants like rosemary that seem to be really hard to start. We've got those going. Even look how little these things. Look at this little dead, almost. There's like no plant there, guys, but it's alive. And she transplanted it, and it's its second day. And so far, none of them have died. Even the worst ones are the clumps. These are some she transplanted 2 days ago. Okay, you can see how much better they're already doing. These were just like yesterday. So give them 2 days. I expect them to start flushing like that because it's working. Some lettuces she had separated out of those 6-packs. They were all packed in. She's about to separate another one and split it all up. And so that 1 6-pack of lettuces, that one kind of lettuce, she broke them into this many plants. And we'll see how that goes. They're a little overgrown. Oregano, same thing. There's little micro seeds. They make little micro plants. They're real hard to get started. So we transplanted them in these. Once these take off and become bigger plants, she's going to separate them and weave them out and get them. Oreganos, we got some some kind of peppermint or something of that nature. So this is my machine. I call this my machine because it's going to be a machine. It's a collection of systems. That's a machine, right? I threw this together in the yard, literally out of that pile of junk. I went over there with a plate. I wish I had the paper plate sitting here with all my notes on it. I would show you, well, how did you design it? I had a paper plate, and I sat here with a pen and a marker, and I sat on this table, and I figured out I was going to do it. I've seen something like this on another guy's channel, Hollis and Nancy. If you guys are not watching Hollis and Nancy, you should definitely check out Hollis and Nancy's homestead. Some really great people, but Hollis is a wood building fool. Everything in his yard is plywood and wood, and it's awesome. So he made something like this as a grow table. This is going to be, I'm going to call it my machine, because it's going to have this isn't the final thing. We have just a stage mock-up for the video, really. What do you call, planting station or a potting station, okay, with all of our supplies, all the little crud right here. This is the grow out system, right? Your little seedlings, your larger grow outs. And I wanted to use this space for a sieve for soil. It's something I could wheel the wheelbarrow right up under here, and then have like a thing right here. I could do something. I had to figure that out, but put those things together, you know, and get a system. Put a roof on it. I want it to drain in a little 5-gallon bucket, maybe a Home Depot bucket up here, so that we can use some of that water for the, you know, for this area. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Trying to do this on our patio is not working anymore. So the patio is already overwhelmed with all our stuff. Look at the babies. Oh, these guys, oh my God. I hate being cutesy, but these damn birds are cute. I don't know how to say it. They're so cute. What are you stalking? Oh, look at that. That was a robin right on the fence. Bird dog was bird dogging. All right. The fence is not finished. Obviously, I literally just whapped this up, and I started letting this open up. We're going to take all this down so that the damn chickens aren't an issue anymore. But I've been using this for a sieve. So some of our soil had been in bags. Sorry, chickens distracted me. And threw something together real quick, and to break up the wet, clumpy soil that's been sitting out in my yard too long, right? Got rained on and all that. Kind of mucky, turned into clumps. Well, I took it and I sieved it up for her, and then that way she's got the stuff that she's using the pot with. And it comes out a lot better if you sieve it. I mean, it's not perfect. But here's the last 6-pack she's going to separate. And see, these are looking all wilty. These lettuces are a little overgrown. There was too many seeds in each hole. There's like several. She'll try to separate them. I told her it's okay if these don't make it, because they're lettuces. They germinated so well. I mean, we could just start more individual pots now that we know how well those seeds germinated. Again, we overseeded a lot of crud because we didn't think the stuff was going to germinate. So melting little holes in the bottoms of all these. You can see little melty holes. Using a torch and a piece of wire. Yeah, it's going down. So yeah, this is the mess we have right now. All this is going to come down hopefully soon, so that this will open up, and this will, you know, be just more of a yard, more of a suburban yard. We'll keep it more mowed down than the rest of it. The berry patch. We're going to plant some of those vines, the squash, the zucchinis, and the melons. We're going to be planting some of that back here in the vine area. He's stalking something. There's got to be a bird. Oh, yep, there's a mockingbird right on top of that post. Yeah, he's a bird dog. He will just point for me if I was wanting to shoot at it. I see him, Hank. I know he's a butthead. He's going to eat all my damn berries. That's what he's doing. He's sitting there looking at my blackberries, y'all. There's got a ton of blackberries. Damn mockingbirds. But look at that. Bam. That's the real deal. So that's some of the raspberries that are still alive. I melted holes just for those. We're going to do this whole thing in this stuff, because you see this? Okay, guys, I'm done fighting that. That was all across the back. One strip. We instantly weeded that whole thing just by laying that down. And we did it by ourselves. Didn't need the kids or nothing. This stuff is hardy. I got this in the mail from Amazon. I see this originally on Living Traditions Homestead. That was the people that we originally saw this from. Another great channel. If you're not watching them, I don't know what you're looking at. You need to be checking them out. This is going to make all the difference in the world. This is just dramatic. This is way too much grass. Look at this. This is thatch. I can't even. This is ridiculous amounts of grass up under here. But once you put this in these giant staples from Amazon, here's this giant roll I got, 250 feet. It's kind of felted on one side and it looks woven on the other. Good stuff. Cheapest stuff I could get at that length, and wasn't the cheapest stuff, but it had the better reviews. It didn't look like it was a ripoff. But again, look how high these weeds are back here, hiding these berries. So it makes gardening no fun if I have to fight this. And if you have to fight this, you're just not going to do it. It's like we didn't. Not anymore. Not anymore. I came through here with a weed eater, and I didn't even look for the old canes. I just weeded this out. And these are the guys that are coming back. I destroyed my fruit crop for the year if there was any canes that was going to come up. So now I see where my plants are, though. I'm going to break holes, and we're going to try to lay that plastic in here and do all that. So anyway, you'll get to see that later. I'm rambling. I do apologize. So I did tell y'all in earlier videos these blackberries are going to make, and they did. Well, they look like they may have. It's been a weird year for the weather, so maybe, I don't know. I don't see the actual berries. Like, that's a big berry. These are the Black Butte, the world's largest, they call them. And they are very delicious when you get them, but the plants are kind of difficult to deal with. Yeah, there's blackberries everywhere. And again, I weed eated a lot of this, but I did save these canes. I knew those were last year's canes that was going to make fruit. So I left a bunch of it, and that's a bunch of stuff I weed eated. It's all coming back. You can see it's a mess of blackberries. So yeah, we have more work to do in here. But this is going to change because our lives, I'm not going to sit here and weed this every day, every year, every month, every season, twice a year. I'm not going to do any of it. I'm not going to do it. Eventually, I want to put a new row of blueberries in here. I have some new blueberry starts. I harvested off of my existing blueberries, and I have them started. So, but this year, they're not going to be ready. We're going to get garden time out of this, again, because of the quarantine and all the things going on. Everybody's trying to plant more garden than normal. So all those 6-packs of cantaloupes and squash and everything, we're going to be putting all those in here. I'm going to put a big watermelon, let it just fill up this whole area and just let it sprawl. And we'll save as many of the blackberries as we want to. And the rest of it's going to be this stuff. And that'll be that. So every one of these rows, at one point I had cut the fence, trying to keep the dog out, so that we could have an access to each row. So every one of these is supposed to have a little gate. And again, these wires were for all the blackberries and raspberries that didn't pan out, but you know, it's okay. I still have this infrastructure in place. Oh, and I also have a plan to plant some like cantaloupes or cucumbers and things and let them climb these things this year too. So we're going to utilize all this fence space for sugar snap peas, maybe just whatever in the world we can get in here. Start growing. Try to make this little wire fence stay in here until I get it more appropriately, because the dog will go in there and make a poo. He will. He's good at that. I'm not having a great year with the kiwis for some reason. There are flowers on a couple of the females, not like normal. I did tell y'all in an earlier video, there's an open flower right there. Wow, it's the first one I've seen this year. There's the little hanging balls. That's their flowers. You can see, actually, she has a lot more on them than I thought. I couldn't see them from that side at all. But the male, I don't see any flowers on the male, so they're not going to make any kiwis, because if there's no flowers on the male, it's just not going to happen. I don't know if y'all, I wasn't even looking, sorry. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I just haven't seen any flowers on the male, and you literally have to have a male and a female flower on kiwis to make kiwis. And I just haven't seen any yet. I have hand pollinated. Last year they had a few flowers, and I wasn't sure if it was enough to keep pollination natural, so I took some and that were open and I pollinated myself, and that's where I got all those kiwis. So I don't know, I don't see any. I still have a white window, but not much, and that's okay, because again, I took a couple of years not taking care of it right, not building the trellis, letting it turn into this big mess, and now I've had to single trunk it. And it's just trying to really recuperate. Look, it's trying to erupt from the stem right there. It's erupting. Don't need that. Yeah. Oh my Lord. If I haven't done a video for you guys, I do have a Facebook page, and it's not attached to this account or anything. My own private account. And I have shown the citrus. I don't know if y'all can see that when I walked up. All these white flowers all over these citrus. Was this thing even in focus the whole time? Have I been talking to y'all with no focus? Lord have mercy. I hope I didn't even see it. I'm not sure if it did or not. But can y'all see all the flowers? These citruses are loaded. So that's the Meyer lemon, one of the mandarins. That is an actual navel orange with a honeybee up in it, even though it's cold. You can see it's trying to set fruit everywhere. So there's still all this new growth. You'll still see some of the older leaves are yellowing off because it's put so much energy into this. I do need to hit them with a little more fertilizer, but just a gentle amount, because they're doing just fine. But some of the older leaves, which are going to die off anyway, are yellowing, so I can definitely watch that. Look at the guys, oh my God. Look at this. The leaves haven't even opened. It's like it shot up so fast. The leaves haven't even formed, but this whole fleshy little stem is there that'll break off like asparagus. It's just fresh and raw. Thing is growing like a monster. Wow. Anyway, I'm real proud of that. The cherry didn't do so hot this year. So I had a bunch of cherries last year. I didn't get but like a couple this year. And I don't even know where they're at right now. But a lot of these clumps should have been cherries. They're not. That's a big giant clumps of flowers. There's no cherries attached to any of these flowers. There'd be cherries hanging. So got robbed. Oh well. Happens and it happens. So that's another reason to grow a whole bunch of different stuff. Sometimes some things do great, some things don't. And the other years it's the opposite. There's my flowers, no cherries. Flowers, no cherries. Huh. The weather was weird. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. The trees are growing. I mean, they're doing good, so can't read that. I added all this, of course. It was such a hot summer. That's not much else to show you guys. Just that the limes, the key limes, are flowering and making little flowers. So my little citrus island, my avocado, the Mexicola Grande, is coming back from that flower it did during the winter. Flowered in the middle of the winter. You can still see, oh, the baby fruits are coming on. Yay. For mandarins. I don't know when they ripen. These guys don't ripen until the fall, so right past the first frost, this gang will still have its, like if you want the Meyer lemons fully yellow and ripe, you got to wait till the fall. So they got to carry this fruit all year long, and you got to maintain the tree the whole time. I don't know about these other ones, but I know that about this one. We did wait, and I let them. That's what I first bought this greenhouse, to help ripen those up. And here's where some of them were. Some of the ones we picked. It's a giant drop-off stems where the lemons were right there. And it was worth it. Those were so sweet. I was thinking it's a lemon, but I think it was originally crossed with an orange in Asia a long time ago. So there's like some sweet to it, and they're huge and delicious. The blueberries, I'm really liking these blueberry plants. Even if I don't get to eat a lot of the blueberries off because of the birds, and I definitely gotta get some bird netting up, we still get to eat a lot of them. A lot, because this is a lot. The mockingbirds can't eat but like 2 or 3 or 4 of these a day, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But yeah, you can see how loaded this thing is. Ooh, and these again are just Home Depot specials, all of them. Climax and Tiff Blue are the only two. One of these is Tiff Blue, one is Climax, and that's the only two I know the name. These were just called blueberries, and I hate that. You try to get something, know what variety is compatible with cross-pollination, and there's no varietal name. It's just blueberries. But they're doing great. The blueberry is this one, and it's freaking loaded. And it is blueberrying as promised. Home Depot specials, but of course with the right soils, and I'm adding the sulfur to acidify that even more occasionally. But yeah, that thing is loaded up, guys. Cilantro has gone to seed everywhere. This is all cilantro plants that grow wild here every year. This is how they stay growing here, because these seeds will be all over the yard. And here they are, coriander seeds. Big bouquets of them. This whole little plant's already gone to seed, and it's got them all over it. These things will start dropping, and don't matter how many you mow up or whatever, and the birds get some or whatever, they'll come back tomorrow. They'll be back next year. And that's coriander. You want that. I can see there's tons of the seeds everywhere. That's kind of neat. And it's cold out here. It is literally cold. I'm wearing a jacket. The birds and the bees would be out everywhere, but you notice you don't see hardly any bees anywhere, just 1 or 2. It's so cold. That's why, I don't know, it's weird. It's going to be 110 degrees in like 3 weeks, guys. 110, promise you. And it's freezing right now. It's like not freezing, but cold. So anyway, blueberries looking good. This thing is finally kicked off. And I ain't going to lie, I did hit it with a half a gallon of concentrated flour. What is it, just like Miracle Grow for flowering plants? Just hit it with that. And bloop, just to kick it off, because I wanted to boost it if it was going to flower. And boy, I don't know if it helped or it was just going to do that this year anyway. Can't know. But yeah, we are loaded with flowers. Now these things never hardly set any fruit. Even when they flower great, they very few of them ever set. And that's even their best years before they ever died back that one time. But they just, I don't think pomegranates are very heavy setters to begin with. There might be some varieties. The thing is loaded with flowers in a very impressive way. Large, giant, bulbous flower looking things. And they're freaking everywhere, all up on these tips. So I'm to imagine that this is supposed to be pomegranates hanging down right here. Hey, pomegranate. There's whole clusters of them. And some are starting to crack, but it's so cold, man. This is not good for them. I don't know if any of them are going to set. All fresh growth from this year. You can kind of see this. Look, it's all just shot up since this year. Just flower starting everywhere I look. That's awesome. This thing is freaking loaded. Freaking loaded. Freaking loaded. Freaking loaded. Oh my Lord, oh, look at that. Yep, looking good, looking good. This little brother I told you died years ago. Oh yeah, you got to see that. Hold on. There's a double cluster. Huh. It's all from the same wood too. It's the same piece of wood just loaded up. Okay, cool. That's this little brother. Died years ago. Still alive. That's the original trunk. And all these years later, I don't know how I've coaxed it back, guys, but I've kept water on it in some droughty years. The bottom don't even look good. Wow, but it's still alive. This one is sweet, and that's ever sweet. So I wanted to keep the variety alive because I paid money for it. So that's great. I could actually take cuttings. I can keep it alive. This thing is doing a lot better since I cut it back really, really hard. As you can see. Again, this tree was planted. This tree was planted when that tree was planted, okay? When all those trees were planted, including the cherries, the kiwis, and these guys, and it's just this big. But it's been 6 years, coming up on 6 years, no, 5 years, I'm sorry. We bought our house coming up on 6 years ago, and they were planted the year after that. This stupid net, the dog destroyed. But yeah, I mean, it's a giant trunk, and it's got just this little bit of growth, because I had to cut it all back real hard. We'll see how it goes. You can see how thick this stuff is. I'm walking in, I don't know if y'all can see, there's actually like almost a hill down, because all the layers of stuff I've got down. Branches, sunflower stalks, all those good layers. We'll see how that helps us this year. This bed is primed and ready, starting to look like it's part of the landscape. I mean, that's 2 foot high, and it looks like it's just on the ground. It's the way I like it, guys. It looks like it's built in. It's man-made, but built in. I do need to get the weed eater out. I broke it last time I was trying to weed eat over here, and I need to get that. Oh gosh, that's so impressive. I love all those flowers. I wish I could get some fruit. Still not getting fruit off my plums, even though I've got all this giant tree. Still not getting no fruit. There's a few in here, but the plum curculio or whatever it is that's got a bunch of our stuff the first 2 or 3 years, it's building up. The population is building. So I've been coming out and picking up every one of them. There'll be whole little shopping bags full of plums on the ground. And here's some of the ones that are still alive. I mean, when I say I'm not going to get any, I'm not going to get them because the bugs are going to get them. See, look, all the wounds. Is that some dude right there? Hold up. I didn't know if that was one right there. But look, you see all those wounds? Plum curculios or something. It's just tearing their butts up. But other than that, there's fruit. I mean, it wants to make me happy. But it can't because the stupid phone won't focus. Alright, there you go. But anyway, yeah, so they're fruit. But they were so super laden, and you just don't understand. There was a rain of that fruit down here, all those holes in it. All like, there's one. I mean, I pick them up and take them out because, guys, if I smash this with my fingers, here's the problem. Those little holes you see are the insertion points for an egg, and that egg sends a maggot down to the stone. Once the tree knows that its reproductive fruit stone is died, it sheds it. It lets go of the fruit. This guy sits in this thing in your soil, overwinters, and starts a new generation of savagery on your stuff again next year. And that's why I'm not getting any fruit right there. There's some kind of a maggot in there doing that. So, I hope you guys don't have that where y'all live. Texas DFW is bad for it. Look at this dude. He's been chewed on, stabbed. He's recovering. He's trying to make it. Not all of them have it, but most of the fruit have fallen off. The only thing that's left is a little bit, like that one just fell off when I touched it. It was ready to go. Look, they're just tearing holes in this thing. So I'll come back and clean that up. But the trees look great. I'm going to figure this problem out, and I'm going to figure out what's going to solve it, and I'm going to take those actions, whatever those actions are, organic out the window at this point. The flowers, the apples that keep trying to die but keep trying to live, they're making apples. You know, the pears are making pears, even though I need to spray them with some of that copper again. I just saw a big cluster is why I double took. I mean, there's some in here. I already see some of the disease coming out on it, I think. Yep. The flowers are turning blackish and getting those little streaks. That's the disease coming in through the flower. And the flowers are popping off. So that black shit on the, excuse me. That's it. That's the disease. And it comes from the flowers. Well, it comes from the pollinators. And here's the deal. I'll set fruit. I'll get fruit set, but they won't make it. Unless I come out here, I guess, and spray with something. Look at these. I got big ones. I mean, it makes fruit. So we got disease issues. All kinds of issues. These trees want to set fruit. These things would be one of the most prolific trees in my yard if it wasn't for this disease. So I have a pest that's taking out all them. I have a disease that's taking out all those. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We did have a hailstorm the other day, like everybody else did, I guess, in the nation. You can see some damage. It wasn't very bad over here, though, really. Like, there's whole parts of the tree that didn't even have any damage on it. So there's no figs on them yet. They didn't make a Breba crop, early crop, but we'll see how it goes. So the neighbor took out their crepe myrtles on the other side, so those are gone. The view changed. Everything's still looking lush. Mr. Hank's still hanking, and we're still not done with everything. As you can see, looks pretty rough. Yeah, that's it. That is the big reveal. Yeah, the rain's falling right into that bucket. Gotta clean that out. Leaves, those are not trash, it's leaves that we took from somebody's yard. You can see the leaves poking out on the side. Yeah, gotta get the weed eater working. And then we will try to prevent that music from being heard on the video so we don't get a strike. And she broke into my yard again. See, I had that on there to keep them out. And they still break in, the little snake. And Mr. Bird Dog is watching Mr. Bird sing to him. All right, I guess that's going to be a wrap. We'll talk to you guys soon.